Well, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. This is our first show of the brand new year, and I'm excited about the whole week, actually. But this day feels so different in a way because today is like the holiday. Uh, and the bowl games are today, and yet it's January 2nd. The parade actually starts in just a few minutes if you're watching this at our 7:30 normal time here on TV6. So I feel like we're the warm up for the parade. And yet I feel like we're more important than the parade. Is that maybe that's too prideful, but the thing is I have the word of God that we're going to share and the parade does not, at least not in my experience. So we're going to enjoy the parade, enjoy the football games today, if that's of your ilk. So, but it's just good to be with you. And 2023, I believe, is going to be a really good year. And we're going to start it off right. You know, the Bible is so full of new beginnings. In fact, all of nature is based on new beginnings. If you've lived anywhere where there's 4 seasons, then you know that God just it seems like everything is dormant and then it starts to come alive. Oh, I can remember taking my little daughter when we lived in Pennsylvania, and was the winter got over those, just the new buds on the trees would come out, and we were fascinated to watch those grow and bloom and blossom. A new beginning, even just for a tree. But that's how life is. And that's how God has made it to be. And there have been lots of new beginnings. I always think about it. I doubt if you have. I don't know why I do. But when Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden to start a new life, I've often thought about what must it have been like. They had been living in perfection. And now God was giving them a new start, but it was a start with sin in their life. And God had even told them that they'll even struggle in working and in growing crops, and it would be hard. But it would be there, and he would make it available. And obviously, Adam and Eve did succeed in their new life, despite the effects of sin. And they had lots of children and lots of babies, and their babies had babies, and the world was populated. And then the next brand new beginning to the world was through the person of Noah, wasn't it? Because over the hundreds of years that had elapsed, man had fallen into sin and sinful habits, and they really forgot about God, except for Noah and his family. And Noah listened. God was very upset with humanity, and he told Noah that he was going to destroy the earth by a flood. And here's how to build a boat that will last, and it will see you and your family through. And that's exactly what Noah listened to him and did, isn't it? And then that flood, as God had promised, did come. And mankind and the animals were wiped out. But after a year, God came to Noah, and the rain had stopped, the flooding had stopped, long stopped actually. And then there was a new beginning. Just like we're being given a new beginning. This is the first of the year. It's like a fresh start, isn't it? Well, what did Noah do with his fresh start? And I love this passage. I've read it before on Inspiration for Today. And I want this to impact our life, not only today, but this year. And here's what it says in Genesis chapter 8 at verse 18. It's written down what Noah did. Let's read it together. So Noah came out of the ark together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground and all the birds, everything that moves on the earth. came out of the ark, one kind after another. So picture them walking out, and the world is fresh and new and clearly green and ready to go, really ready to go. And verse 20. So how did Noah take advantage of this? What did he do? He had to build places to live, find food to eat, and so forth. He had a whole new life to begin. What does he do? Verse 20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. Taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The first thing Noah did, with all he had to do, was to worship the Lord. Top priority. Man, if that isn't a lesson right there for us, we could stop right there. But we're not. We're going to move on. But that Noah would worship the Lord day one. And sure enough, that pleased the Lord. Verse 21, the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma of his worship and his sacrifice and said in his heart, never again will I curse the ground because of men, even though every inclination of his heart is evil from childhood. And I will never again destroy all living creatures as I have done. And then just to wrap that thought up, we have to drop down to chapter 9 at verse 13. Just so that we would remember that promise forever. Here's what he said, I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant or promise between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my promise between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. That rainbow, when we see it in the clouds, may you and I let it remind us that God was pleased with Noah's worship and his sacrifice or offering to God. God was pleased with that. And so he made a promise to never again destroy mankind by way of a flood. It can remind us just of who God is and God's faithfulness and Noah's example of how we should live our lives. Man, can 2023 be a time where we put the Lord in his proper perspective, and that is the head of everything we do, and we do it for him? That would be a great, great, great fresh beginning for all of us. Now, I want the Lord to be number one in my life, and I know you do too. The rest of this week, we're going to look at the physical and emotional and spiritual sides of life. You know, it's okay to have resolutions, and just be in prayer that as this week unfolds, we find ways to make resolutions to the Lord. It's great to aim for something, and that's what we want to do, and that's what I think we'll explore these together. And then let me just tell you that Friday, we're going to look at the ultimate new beginning, the ultimate new start. And it's going to be a little different than I think you're thinking that we might do together. So I look forward to Friday also. It'll be awesome. But I'll be right now, though, be beginning to think of, for the physical and emotional and spiritual sides of life, what resolutions, what goals can I make for 2023? What would the Lord have me to do? And then we'll just talk about those things and see where the Lord leads us, and bring biblical examples of each of those for our discussion. So I hope you'll join me. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
And I won't worry about tomorrow. I'm trusting what you say.